All right, we're going to see how this goes. This is going to be the first episode in my practice drills series. So basically what the series is going to be is the drills that I'm using to get better, particularly in the off season, but really throughout the year. This past year, I went from 827 is where I started this year and got all the way to 868. So by no means am I like a touring pro or anything like that, but I've made a lot of improvements and I've unlocked a huge portion of my game. And so I wanted to share what am I doing to get even better. I find the fun of disc golf for me personally is actually being able to compete and get competitive. And so that comes with practice like these drills. So some of these drills are ones that I've either seen other people put out there and I've maybe tweaked a little bit for my personal self. So the tweaks may be helpful to you, or they're drills that I've come up with myself after playing in the tournament and seeing a potential deficiency and thinking, okay, how can I replicate this in field work or something like that can help me fix those issues that I was having in a tournament or something like that. If at any point I start to realize that, hey, this drill isn't as good as I thought it would be, I'm definitely going to update these videos, just kind of saying, hey, this isn't as effective as I initially thought it would be. So it's going to be trial and error, and it's a long journey. So this first drill here is going to be just a simple approach shot drill. You can do this from any distance, but today for me, I'm working on approaching with putters. So I'm about 150 feet out. The reason I kind of have it at that distance for me is once I start getting a little bit closer than 150 feet, I'm capable of jump putting in there. And I'm not working on jump putts today. I'm working on that approach shot with the putter. So I moved it to about where I think, okay, I'm going to be kind of iffy on a jump putt. It's not going to quite get there. So I need to now move into a more of a regular throw. So adjust that distance for you, whatever disc you're working on, whether it be putters, mid-ranges, fairway drivers, whatever that kind of approach is that you're working on, adjust that distance for what you're comfortable for, because this is more about accuracy. We're not trying to gain distance, we're trying to get accuracy. The target I have there is the bullseye, so it's 10 feet in, so that's actually a really hard target to hit. So you want to be at the distance that you're going to actually throw that disc. Don't sit at 300 feet and try to do a 300-foot approach shot with a putter if you can't throw 300-foot approach shots with a putter. Like I said, I'm working on the very short game. I'm wanting that in between where I'm not really needing a full power shot, but I'm still too far out for that big jump putt to kind of put it in the circle. And so really I want to put it in the bullseye, and I want to get accurate in the bullseye. And the reason it's so restrictive because getting it in the circle from this distance isn't necessarily a difficult thing. You want to really constrict it, and that's why I have it set at bullseye. So you're really giving yourself a challenge. All right, so one more thing to add before we kind of get into what this drill looks like, it's super simple, is for me, so my putters that I use for approach shots, I have a couple different ones. I use a Judge, I use a Glitch, I use a Deputy, and then I use a Saki Bomb Slammer. So those four are my approach discs for putters. I am not going to put all those putters in one stack and throw a Judge, then throw a Glitch, then throw my Slammer. I'm going to only throw Judges. I've got a goal in mind where I want to hit 10 in the bullseye. Once I hit those 10 in the bullseye, then I'm moving on to the next disc. The reason for that is the throw for each disc to hit the bullseye is going to be different because obviously they fly different. And your goal is to understand what you need to do to perform this shot with that disc. So don't mix your discs, focus on one disc, meet your goal, whatever that goal is, whether it's 10, 15, 20, whatever you have time for. Use only the same disc. Grab 2 or 3 of them at a time and work on that disc. Once you do that, then you can move on to the next disc. So that way you're not confusing your muscle memory. You're understanding this is the throw that's needed for the Judge. You're understanding this is the throw that's needed for whatever disc you're using. Okay? And then once you get comfortable with just doing it out in the open. Like here, it's just a straight up, I'm putting it in there. You can start adding obstacles. You can put a cone about halfway there and say, okay, my shot has to go to the right, to the left, or whatever that is. Or you can set up a gap between two cones. Okay, my disc has to go between these two cones. And you can really start to make this even that much harder. But start with an open field, get comfortable with what your discs do in open. You're not trying to get around anything. And then add some obstacles in there so you're better learning what your disc is designed to do and what you can do with your disc. So like I said before, I'm not, a touring pro. Right now I'm playing in MA2, hoping to make the bump up to MA1 here within the next tournament or so. But I want to kind of show that I'm capable a couple more times before I make that jump. Part of showing that I'm capable is doing drills like this. It's not always just playing around. Yes, playing around is good practice, but understanding your discs and what they do at different situations and really focusing in on that is going to help that much more. So that's why these kind of drills are important. Like I said, if I eventually find out this drill is not helping as much, or I start to see a point where I'm not getting the return I used to on it, then another video will come out and say, hey, here's adjustments to it, or just, hey, it's not a good drill. But this is one I've used a lot. I've seen a lot of improvements on for myself, and so that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. I want to use things that I'm actually using because I see improvement, but I'm not always going to be right. But this is one I actually am very confident in, that it's going to help your game because you're just going to understand what you're capable of doing with the discs that you have in your bag. So let's get a few shots in so you can see kind of how this drill is supposed to work. Like I said, this one's pretty simple, but still want to demonstrate these drills for you so you can actually see it, okay? And one other thing I will add is don't use a stance you wouldn't use from that distance. For me, at this distance, I'm not doing a run-up. This is a standstill shot. So if you're in a place where you would normally do a standstill, don't use a run-up. Or if you need a run-up, don't try to standstill it. Okay, that's not what this drill is for. There are drills out there to help you improve that standstill power or improve that power with the X step and having that run up, but that's not what this drill is. This drill is solely about, okay, what do I do in this situation and how does my disc work when I throw it? So let's get a few shots in. A little low, but I think that's going to be good. Oh, I pushed way too far. I went around that edge. Didn't get it. So that's the problem with the low on the judge. So if you get a little low, it gets hard to stick sometimes because it does get a little skippy at times, especially here in Florida. It's a little early release, and I think I short armed that. Yep, just short. And that was horrible. So quick add in here. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is when you're throwing, really pay attention to what the disc is doing. As you saw when I threw one of my shots, I said it was a little low, but I thought I was going to get a little lucky on it. But also at the same time, one of the reasons I was concerned it was low is as I've been throwing these shots with these judges today, notice when it's a little low, it may come in accurately, but the problem is these judges, at least the ones that I throw, they get a little skippy on this Florida ground. So obviously it was in a good spot. If its first landing was in a good spot, but it skipped and went long at the bullseye. So as you continue to throw these, really pay attention to that stuff because you're going to be able to understand also not only what you can do with the disc, but what the ground is going to do to your disc. And that's going to put you on a level that much more, if that makes sense. Sit. You're recording, right? Yeah. Just a little early. I need it off to the right more. There we go. That should be perfect. There we go. And that's a grip block if I ever saw one. Wow. Just kind of threw it out there. But we got one in there. on the pole. Hold it. Yeah, just too much right. I think that should be perfect. Right on it. Yeah, that's inside. Alrighty. Let's keep going here. I think that is absolutely perfect. Right in there. Can't ask for much better than that. I think that's on it too. Sit. Ooh, I think that squeaked just outside. It might be a little low, but I think coming in at a good angle. Oh, on the pin. All right. So that's the drill. This is a really good drill to help with that accuracy. Like I said, this isn't meant to build power. This isn't meant to build anything other than I want to put this so close to the basket, I don't have to putt. It's literally a tap in, move on to the next hole. If you can master that, you're going to make your life a lot easier. Again, that's why I'm putting myself at 150, because I feel like if I can put myself in the bullseye from 150 feet consistently, I'm going to be in pretty good shape in most rounds that I play. So let's recap, all right? Put yourself at the distance that you're going to use that disc, whether you're using putters, mid-ranges, drivers, whatever it is. Put yourself at that distance, okay? Don't try to push a disc too far if you're not there yet. There are different drills for that. That's not what this is for. Use the same disc each time, okay? So if you're working on approaches with, for me, that was approaches with the judge, okay? So if you're looking for that, use specifically that one disc. Once you hit your goal, then go on to the next disc, okay? So don't take all your putters or your mid-ranges, put them in a big stack and just throw them, because you're going to confuse your muscle memory. Get the muscle memory down for that drill for that one disc. Then once you hit your goal for that drill, say like for me, my goal is 10. So once I hit 10 in the circle, then I'm going to move on. Probably the next one I'm going to throw is the glitch. Okay. So that way I know I'm focusing on the glitch or the judge, and that's what this is how I'm supposed to throw that disc for this shot. And I'm creating that muscle memory. So when I step up to the shot and I sit there and I look, I'm like, okay, based on wind conditions, ground play, or any obstacles that are in my face, I know this is the disc I need to use. And I'm going to be able to throw that shot with confidence because I had the muscle memory down from whatever distance I'm working on at that time. All right. So guys, stay practicing, keep pushing. If you're like me and you enjoy the competition, you're going to be more competitive the more field work you do. And the goal of this is to just give you more options in practicing and helping you become more competitive, because the more competitive we are, the more fun we're going to have. All right. So guys, until next time, keep practicing, keep having fun, keep throwing.